Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into
To avoid
it.
break-ins, theft and theft of the car, as well as its contents, car owners massively install alarm systems on cars. This is the most common tool of protection. Alarms can be standard, provided from the factory in the car, and installed separately. But all of them are controlled remotely with a special remote control or key fob. We are talking about an electronic system that can periodically fail, work incorrectly, or fail. And often the failure occurs unexpectedly and at the most inopportune moment. It is quite common for the protection system to stop responding to commands from the control panel. It is important to quickly understand the causes and take appropriate measures to eliminate the problem. Reasons for lack of response. The first thing to understand is why exactly when pressing the buttons on the keychain, the alarm system installed on the vehicle does not respond in any way, does not execute commands. Even the most experienced masters in car alarm repair will not be able to say at a glance why this happens. Here it is necessary to study the possible causes, sometimes by the method of elimination. But since this malfunction is widespread, there are several of the most likely problems. These are the ones to start with. The probability of encountering some other cause than those listed is minimal. Virtually all possible errors and malfunctions are accounted for. Having found a specific cause, you can focus on its elimination. Lack of response of the alarm system to commands from the control panel is usually associated with batteries in the remote control, damage to the key fob, radio interference, loss of communication between the vehicle and the remote, electronic malfunctions. By studying these potential faults and identifying their characteristic signs, even a self-driving car owner can accurately diagnose their vehicle and get to work fixing the problem. Battery. One of the most common reasons why cars do not open with the key fob from the alarm system is considered a banal dead battery in the vehicle. When the battery is completely discharged or is at the limit of performance due to minimal charge, the security system may not respond to manipulations with the remote control. Here it is worth trying to get closer to the vehicle and again press the right button. In some cases, this helps, although it is hardly worth counting on the ability to start the engine if the battery is dead. The cause of such a malfunction is often the inattentive driver himself. Someone does not turn off the headlights when leaving the car, others leave the audio system and other components powered by the battery when the generator does not work. Sometimes it takes a few hours for the battery to completely exhaust its charge. It is not difficult to correct the situation. You need to try to charge the battery on the car. Various methods are used, but the use of a charger with the right characteristics is considered optimal. If you are in conditional field conditions, then the method of cigarette lightering from another car will help. The car will start, the generator will charge the battery, and everything will start working normally again. But if the battery is discharging frequently, you need to check the causes. Sometimes damaged wires, oxidized terminals are to blame, but also the resource of the battery itself can come to an end. The only solution here is to buy a new battery. Batteries in the key fob. If you take into account the statistics of calls to car services, as well as feedback from car owners themselves. The most popular reason lies precisely in the dead batteries used to power the alarm control panel. In a situation when the alarm system remote control does not open any doors and does not execute commands sent by pressing the corresponding buttons, take a close look at the device itself. Many modern security systems come with a key fob equipped with a display. If it is out and does not light up when pressing the buttons, then the problem is definitely in the batteries. But there are other key fobs where the screen is missing. In this situation, look for a small diode on the housing. Often alarm manufacturers install a small LED, which signals the driver about the discharge of batteries. If such a problem is detected, the only and logical solution is to replace the batteries. But they are not always at hand. As an option, you can try to remove them from the case. Give them a few blows from each other or a hard surface. Then the batteries are inserted in place, and again an attempt is made to activate the system. When this folk method does not work, go to the nearest store to purchase the necessary batteries. The replacement procedure should obviously not cause any difficulties. The problem is solved in just a few minutes. Damage to the remote control. We cannot exclude the possibility of damage to the remote control itself, because of which the car doors do not open from the alarm key fob. Such defects the device can get in your pocket when accidentally falling on a hard surface, as well as due to mechanical influences. There are a lot of ways to damage the remote control. Less often motorists face a situation when the button jams or breaks. This is also due to mechanical damage, excessive pressure, and careless handling of the device. You can get out of this situation by using a spare remote control if it is available. Often manufacturers of car alarm systems complete sets with 2 key fobs at once. Also, when equipping the car with a security system from the factory in the kit, comes the main and spare key with already embedded in their housing buttons to control the alarm system. If there is no spare key, it is better to contact the company or store where the alarm system was purchased and installed. If the alarm system was included in the package, then call the authorized dealer. They should provide you with another key fob. Depending on the availability of warranty and its conditions, the new remote control will be issued free of charge or subject to additional payment. Read also, connecting and configuring the onboard computer in the car radio interference zone. This is not the most common, but still a common reason why alarm systems may not respond to the key fob. There are certain areas where it will be problematic to transmit a radio signal from the key fob to the car. Various environmental causes can jam the signal. If the motorist is in one of these zones, it will be somewhat difficult to transmit the car alarm command through the remote control. It will not work immediately if the radio interference is strong, but it is still possible to get out of the situation. To begin with, let's determine why these radio interferences occur where they can be encountered. The most striking example are airports. Here the blocking of radio waves is done on purpose, so as not to disrupt the functionality of navigation equipment, fine electronics, from the flight control points in the airplanes themselves. Also, areas where radio signals are jammed are important government facilities, large industrial enterprises, military bases, and factories. Once near such points, don't be surprised that the alarm system doesn't turn on or off, or the car doesn't respond to other commands from the control panel. You can verify the presence or absence of working radio waves by using your phone. Look at the screen in the area of the cellular indicator. If it is not there, the signals will not travel well here. You can also check the GPS system on your phone. Now, concerning what the driver should do when the alarm system on his car persistently does not turn off. There is nothing particularly complicated here, but much depends on how much radio signal is jammed in a particular location of the car. The principle of disconnect and turn on the remote control will not work here when it comes to the existing radio interference. It's not about the remote control or its batteries. It's just that the signal can't be transmitted, especially from quite a long distance, as drivers are used to do when they are in areas without radio interference. To remove the car from the alarm system or to activate the security system through the remote control is all real. To do this, try to get as close to the car as possible. It is good to know the exact location of the receiver of the signal from the remote control. Baiting in this area near the car, there is a high probability that the signal will be sent and the key fob will fulfill its functions. When in areas where radio interference may be present, do not move far away from the car before pressing the key fob button. Otherwise, the car's security system will not activate, and the car will become an easy prey for car thieves. They are quite common in parking lots near airports, counting on the fact that radio interference will not allow you to close the car. It is better to activate the security system from a close distance, make sure it works, and only then go about your business. This recommendation does not only apply to areas with potential radio interference. Always try to activate the alarm system when you are near the car. This will make sure that the key fob is triggered and the car is armed. Loss of communication. There is another reason why the alarm system installed on your car may not respond to your key fob. It concerns the loss of communication, which connects the alarm system and the remote control. Such a thing happens due to a software failure. From this, the transmitter or control device, that is, the key fob, cannot contact the receiver, as which is the control unit in the car itself. The situation is not easy, because to solve it will require reprogramming of the broken connection. You will have to use the emergency mode to disconnect the control unit. Simply remove the wires from the unit, and then a new synchronization takes place. It is not necessary to go to a service center or to the office of the company that sold or installed the security system on the vehicle. The car owner himself has the possibility of reprogramming. For this purpose, the user manual for your alarm system model is used. It indicates what and how to do. If the guard is removed and the alarm system works normally again, you can continue to operate. Although after reflashing on your own, the protection may still not be removed from the alarm system. Then the car is sent to the service center. Here experts will deal with the car and can accurately diagnose why the protection is not removed or does not turn on the security mode when you press the buttons on the remote control key fob. But there is one exception, when you still have to go to the service center. In rare cases, the loss of communication between the control device and the receiver in the car is accompanied by the loss of the software itself, embedded in the memory of the system. Independent synchronization will not help here. The only way out of this situation is to visit a service center. Here, specialists will restore the firmware, which will return the functionality of the alarm system, controlled through the remote control. Car electronics. Before looking into possible alarm malfunctions, it's worth making sure there are no problems in the car itself. If there are malfunctions in the car wiring, as well as other problems related to electronics, the alarm system itself may not respond from the alarm key fob. If you do not work the central main lock or individual locks, you should check the state of the central locking system. Read also, how to recognize puddles under the car. What and from what leaks. Problems with electronics most often occur after a short circuit. It occurs due to damage to wires, bare contacts, and sudden voltage spikes. A malfunction of the control unit of your alarm system cannot be ruled out, which causes the wiring to fail. Such problems usually appear with characteristic signs. The system starts to behave quite strangely. This can manifest itself in a variety of symptoms: arbitrary turning on and off of the alarm system, incorrect response, execution of one command instead of another, partial failure of some functions, etc. If there are suspicions that the alarm system is not working properly, it is unlikely to be possible to understand the causes and eliminate them with your own hands. Here it will be right to contact a service center. How to act in case of no response to the key fob. In addition to the above recommendations for each specific situation, you can give some more useful tips. Often drivers are lost and do not know what to do if the alarm system suddenly does not respond to the key fob. The explanation for such confusion is simple. The alarm system can go off and start making very loud noises. The driver gets into a panic and does not understand how best to proceed. It's much worse if you can't open the doors because of problems with the alarm key fob. Then you should count on a quick arrival of specialists, self-sending the car to the service on a tow truck or on a dead battery. If you have access to the cabin, but the alarm still does not silence, experts and experienced motorists give a couple of useful tips. Use the function of emergency shutdown. All car alarm systems have a secret code that allows you to disable the security in emergency situations without the key fob. The code is communicated to the car owner at the time of purchase and installation. It should be memorized. To enter the code, you need to find a special valet button. It is responsible for settings, connection to the remote control, and performs a number of other important functions. The button itself is more often installed near the fuse box. It is also likely to be located under the steering wheel, on the dashboard, etc. Once you have found the button, enter the code. There are different variants here, starting from combinations of button presses, ending with starting the engine, shifting the gearbox, knob in a certain sequence, etc. It depends on the specific alarm system. It already depends on the particular alarm system. An alternative option would be to increase the strength of the signal. If your alarm system suddenly stopped responding to commands from the key fob, try to sit in the car and bring the remote control as close as possible to the receiver. Here it is important to know exactly where the control unit of the alarm system is located. At the same time, you need to actively and often press the key fob button. Often this method helps to cope with the situation. Even when you manage to disable the alarm system, still the problem remains. The most correct solution will be to visit a service center for diagnosis. Specialists will check the condition of the alarm system, diagnose the key fob itself, and will be able to draw the appropriate conclusions. with the subsequent repair and restoration work. Spontaneous triggering of the alarm system. In addition to the fact that the alarm system on the car can stop responding to commands from the key fob, there is another common situation among drivers. It is associated with spontaneous triggering of the alarm system without objective and visible reasons. Here the experts emphasize three main reasons why this can happen to the machine. Problem with contacts. When the car is operated carelessly, or the car falls into difficult weather conditions associated with heavy precipitation, the contacts of wires and buttons can oxidize. Because of this, commands start to be transmitted, although the car owner has not pressed any buttons. To correct the situation, it is necessary to enchant the problematic contacts or completely change the terminal. Defective door mechanisms. Sometimes there are other circumstances when after pressing the button the notification that the car is unlocked is received, although in fact it does not happen. Here it is worth checking the condition and operability of the central lock. If the reason is not in it, then pay attention to fuses and wiring. Mechanical faults are not excluded. Plus, in severe cold conditions, the opening and closing mechanisms of the vehicle doors may not work due to freezing. The sensors are malfunctioning or not properly adjusted. The car contains a large number of alarm sensors, which are used by the security system in the operating mode. The most common among them is the shock sensor. It fails or has too sensitive settings. Because of this, any minor impact leads to the fact that the sound and light signal is activated. Although at the same time on the car just fell leaves from a tree, it was hit by a branch or just passed by a car. Here it is recommended to change the sensitivity settings. If the sensors have failed, they should be replaced. Alarm systems on cars are quite effective protection against burglary, theft, and theft. But the security equipment itself needs careful care and control of its performance. Initially, it is recommended to install quality alarm systems from leading manufacturers, as well as contact qualified craftsmen for connection and further service. In most cases, the alarm stops responding to commands from the key fob for very trivial reasons. They are not difficult to eliminate with your own hands. For more serious malfunctions, should contact the masters. In conclusion, if your alarm system is not responding to the key fob, it can be frustrating, but there are several potential solutions to explore. Start by checking the battery in your key fob, ensuring it is properly charged and functioning. Next, inspect the connection between the fob and the alarm system, as interference or distance can hinder communication. If these steps do not resolve the issue, consider consulting the user manual or contacting customer support for further assistance. By following these troubleshooting tips, you can restore the functionality of your alarm system and ensure your home remains secure. Thank you for watching, and stay safe.